Hey, good evening, everyone. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Welcome to the Wednesday night Halas Hall Report. So, yeah, we're still in the deep throes of the off season as we're getting ready to move towards camp. So, we're going to go over a couple of things that happened since our last show on the draft. Tonight, we've got with us Anthony Stewart, Trax, and of course, Mike, the Bear fan, who will be producing. So we have some. We're going to be talking about a couple things that have happened since last week. Number one, of course, being the big schedule release. Now, remember, with the leaks and everything, we all thought we were going to Germany, which made me happy because I thought I was going to go see a Bayern Munich match. But the Kansas City Chiefs said 9. They said, forget that noise. We launch Chicago, coming to KC. You travel too well. You pack our hotels. You eat our crappy barbecue. So we want another team, and they got Miami to go to Germany instead. So now that the schedule's out, we knew who we were playing. Now we know the when and the where, and it's going to be a very interesting season for sure for Bears fans. So we'll go over that tonight. We're also going to go over what we've done in the offseason so far, make our way too early season predictions because there's still work to be done, a team to be formed, and then some other final comments as we go through the night. So let's start. Let's just kick right into it, Mike. Right? Let's go right into the schedule. Week 1, the big game. We get the Green Bay Packers, right? Week 2, we travel. That's at home against Green Bay. Week 2, we travel to the good sunny state of Florida, where I'm currently at, to go see the Buccaneers. Then we travel in week 3 to KC. We're at home for the Broncos, and then we get the Washington Commanders. So those are the first 5 games. Anthony, what do you think of the way the schedule breaks out, home and away for the first 5? You think we're looking good, or do you not like how they scheduled us?
Yeah, I think this is the way it's set up. I think this is where we get our footing. This is where we get our footing. Yep.
Yeah. So especially I mean, when you look at the way they scheduled the non-divisional stuff, that's pretty interesting. Like, what do you guys think about week 1 though? Green Bay coming to Chicago, is that just the best way to start a season off, or would you like to see someone else there?
Me personally, I love it. I love it. First of all, this is a new era. This is going to be a new era. You got Jordan Love back there, man, and this is where we turn it around. This is where we should be able to turn it around. After taking all those butt kickings for all those years, now we have pretty much a third-year rookie starting for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we should win that game.
Trax, where are you at on this?
Well, people love to tell people that they're wrong. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to do it to me, right? Week 1, I got the Bears beating the Packers. I think Justin Fields is going to go out with a bang. He's going to throw 3 touchdowns and run for 1. I think he's going to hit Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, and our new DJ Moore, which I forgot the damn jersey to wear tonight, but I got number deuce, and I was going to wear it for you guys, and I dropped the ball. I'm an offensive lineman, so I'm known to fumble, but I can hold it.
Oh, there we go. Well, I mean, we'll get into predictions in a little bit, but I mean, are you happy that we're opening the season with Green Bay, or would you have been happier with like maybe the Lions or Kansas City week 1?
You know what? Yeah, I'm sorry.
No problem.
No. Yeah. But I honestly, I like that we're playing them early. I mean, I don't mind playing them later on, but it's nice so that way they don't get that continuity underneath them with Justin Love. And, we've already have that continuity with Fields. So I think we can get the edge on that. And he's got a lot more repetitions that leads to retention. And he knows these players. He's been gelling with them, playing with them. Like for a while, Love has been, and you guys will probably agree with this, Love has been in limbo because we weren't really sure what was going on with the A-Rod freaking, saga with the Jets. So they were kind of like not sure which way they were going. I mean, we all knew it was going, but it just like I doubt he was doing what Fields was doing with our guys, where he was going to Bulls games with, the guys and hanging out, throwing the ball, hanging out in Florida and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely would rather play them in week 1 and get that win underneath our belt and get some of that, what do you call it? The good juices flowing. So maybe we can run the board on them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hope so. What do you think, Mike?
It'd be nice. But Mike, the other question though is like, I'm surprised. I know you're happy with week 1 being Green Bay because it's a great way for us to kick off our show in the season. But what I'm surprised, and I'm wondering how surprised you are, it's not a primetime game. Bears, Packers, biggest rivalry in football, and you're not primetime?
Yeah, but it's opening game. I personally love it because it's war week. Like all the groups I'm in, it's all about, the 4 teams, NFC North. But I personally love it. Like this year is, I believe, I wouldn't say make it or break it for Fields, but he better definitely improve 100%. We know he can use his legs. We got a receiver, like Brandon said, number 1 receiver. So we got pretty decent receivers throughout, 1, 2, and 3. Now, if the number 1 gets hurt, then it's questionable, kind of, in my view. You know what I mean? But we also upgraded the offensive line, got good guard, and then picked up a great tackle in the draft. So I personally think we're going to have a top 15 offensive line. I personally think that. And if we can do that, I personally think we'll have a pretty good offense because if Fields don't step it up, like he's got all the receivers plus a running back, not to mention Cole Kmet. They even got a decent backup from Green Bay that, that's a homeboy from Chicago. So it's good to have Tanyan, and he's really not that bad. You know what I mean? I personally have Fields almost like you said, having a breakout year, throwing for the first time ever 4K, and that means Moore is going to have 1,000. I don't think the next person will have 800, but it'll be 800, 700, 600. That's just my opinion. I personally love it, and not to go into it, but it's even better to go into the last game to play them too. Because one of those games, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be at one of those games for sure.
Yeah, well, when we get to the back end is going to be interesting. But, can throw up the graphic one more time. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I know I said we were going to do, all the predictions at once. But, you know what, let's kind of like roll through these first 5 games. Week 1, Green Bay. Does anyone on the panel see the Bears losing to Green Bay?
I don't.
No.
All right,
no.
so we all have Green Bay. Okay, we go on the week 2, Tampa. Now Tampa is going to be an interesting game. Baker Mayfield, new quarterback in their system. So it's another week in a row we're getting a quarterback in a new system. Not that Jordan Love's a new quarterback in a new system, but it's his first start. This beginning of his era. But now we go to Tampa with their whole situation after the Brady retirement. They've still kept a lot of weapons. Baker's still a good quarterback. He's not, set the world on fire, but he's good. So what do you guys think about the Tampa game? Well, I'll start with Trax. What do you think about the Tampa game?
Well, they're Tom Brady's watching this game from home, right?
Yeah.
So we're already headed in a new direction, in the right direction, right, guys? But what direction that is, nobody knows. And so I think that Field has another nice performance. And, I think it's going to be a good game. And I really feel like I really feel good about the Bears on this one, guys.
Yeah. And hey, is Woody in, or are we just getting his graphic right now?
I'm in.
Hey, Woody, I assume you're taking the Bears in week 1. We're on week 2 right now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What were you thinking of that game?
I like the Bears. Me and you, Ken, don't agree. I think Baker is way past his prime. I think he's done. We got this game in game 2. We'll be 2-0.
Anthony?
I think Baker Mayfield is Baker Mayfield. So this is a sure win. This is a sure win.
Yeah, and Woody, it's not that I'm saying that Baker Mayfield's going to beat the Bears. I think we win this game too. But Baker Mayfield though is not. He has potential to put some stuff in the air, and he's got some good receivers and he's got some weapons. But their defense is kind of in shambles. Their line's in shambles. I mean, Mike, I see you ready to jump. You're chomping at the bit, so let me kick it to you.
No, I was just trying to compare him to Dalton. That would be my view. He can kind of get the job done, but like you said, I don't think their defense is going to be that great. New quarterback with the offense. I personally don't think their offense is like pow to me. So I believe we'll be 2-0 kicking off the first two games.
Plus Tampa, they lost a couple of key defensive players.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
they lost a lot. So here we're going to set the stage right, because here's what's going to happen, and you guys know this is going to happen. We win week 1 at home, the home opener against Jordan Love to begin his era. We go to Tampa, where they're still going to be figuring their stuff out. We're ahead of the game that way. Our offense has been together longer. Our defense is a little more, especially on the backside, has been together longer, right? So the continuity for the first 2 games is really one of our bigger advantages. Then we're going to walk into game 3. Bears fans are going to be in a high. Oh my God, we're 2-0. We're going to win the division. We're going to the playoffs, baby. It's Super Bowl year. And we're going to run right into a brick wall called the Kansas City Chiefs. So what do you think about week 3 in KC, Woody?
Do I have to answer?
Yeah, you do.
No, yeah, we're gonna be on that high, 2-0, like Ken said. We're gonna get hit hard by Kansas City.
Quit going off topic, Ken or Woody.
What's that?
Stay on topic.
What topic?
Week 2. We ain't to week 3 yet.
No, we're in week 3 right now.
Yeah, Mike. You pay attention.
Yeah, he asked about the Chiefs.
God damn it, Mike.
My
now
bad.
I lost my fucking train of thought.
Jeez, Bill
Sorry. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you.
You said we were going to get spanked by the Chiefs.
Yeah, we're gonna get spanked. Plain and simple.
Is there anyone here who thinks we're going to beat the Chiefs in week 3?
No.
I don't.
Me?
Oh, wait, let's go to Anthony. Zoom in on Anthony. Anthony, break down for us why we're going to start the season 3-0.
First of all, we will be 2-0, right?
Right.
With the weapons that Justin Fields has around him, and I believe he has something to prove. Playing not against Patrick Mahomes, but playing each other. They're playing each other. And I believe this is going to be the upset. This is the upset that I didn't want to mention earlier.
Okay.
All right, this is the one.
I personally think it's a little too early for an upset like that. We definitely got better on both sides of the ball, but we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl champs. You know what I mean? I just think they have a little much on us, especially in KC. If it was in Chicago, we might debate it a little bit, especially during the season. But that's just
and look, at any given Sunday, so I get Anthony's vibe, right? Any given Sunday, it's still early in the season when teams can make mistakes and other teams can get ahead of themselves and do things look at last year after week 1, we beat San Francisco. Bears fans like, hey.
You know why?
Because
I was on my honeymoon that day.
Yeah, and then what happened? So, I mean, I don't see us beating KC. So, Anthony's got us at 3-0. The rest of us are 2-1. The next game after that.
Hey, Ken. Ken, let me add something while we're still on topic.
Yep.
Hey, I really feel like this is going to be a close one. I'm not far off from Anthony. I think that while we're not going to get a good defensive pass rush on Patrick Mahomes, and he's going to throw for over 350 yards and probably 4 touchdowns, I do think this is going to be Justin Fields' first 300-yard game. And I also do think that we probably lose by 1 touchdown. So it's going to be a lot closer than most folks think.
That's if
I
Jones
agree with you.
City,
if we get
Kansas City doesn't.
Let me get one at a time. Woody, go ahead.
Yeah, Jones is sick on that defensive line for Kansas City. Fields just better run. That's all I got to say.
Mike, what you got?
I'll get it's good.
Okay, so then after the Kansas City game, which I think could also be, I think we're going to lose, whether it's by a score, 7 or 14, we'll see. But I mean, it could be a close game. Week 4 is going to be interesting because that's, I believe, the Denver game. Is that at home, Mike?
Yeah, that's at home.
So we get Russell Wilson with the kind of the rebuilt somewhat Denver team, new head coach, obviously, right? That cost them draft capital. I think we'll see a very different Denver team than was out there last year. So with that in mind, Woody, what do you think about this home game against Denver and Russell Wilson?
Yeah, that is tricky. Sean Payton, he's a mastermind. Depends what Russell Wilson we're going to get. The last couple of years, he had a rough year. But I say we pull this one out.
All right. So you guys at 3-1. How about you, Trax?
Man, I think Russell Wilson's going to look flat like 2022. I think it's going to end up being the new rookie kicker. Is going to kick 3 field goals, and I think it's going to be including like a 50-plus yarder, probably like 51-yarder, and Foreman's going to run like a beast. It's going to be a close game. We're going to win by 3.
All right, Anthony.
And I think we're going to win this game. I think that the Broncos are still in shambles, even though they have Russell Wilson and Sean Payton coming back. That locker room is still in shambles, and it's going to take a couple of years to get back.
Yeah,
on track. So I think that's a win for the Bears.
Yeah, I agree with Anthony. They're on the right track, Ken. It's going to take a minute. You know what I mean? I think they're doing the right thing. It's just we're hitting them in stride at the right time. Sorry to, I think that
Mike.
Russell Wilson was great in Seattle. He hasn't shown nothing in Denver. So until he shows something, I'm going to go with the Bears for sure. Because like I said, we've upgraded on both sides of the ball. I think we're not done yet on defense, but I'll tell my opinion later, which most of you on the panel already know.
So right now we're at 3-1, 3-1, undefeated, says Anthony. 3-1 says Mike. And then my prediction on that is, for me, this was a tough game. This was kind of a toss-up game because Sean Payton. But then again, we're in year 2 of Eberflus. A lot more, by this week 4, we're starting to see what teams are, right, a little bit. But I think the Bears have more continuity. I think the Bears win this one. I'll go with we're 3-1. Week 5, we go to Washington to play the Commanders or the Cobra Commanders, who go commando and the fans go commando, whatever you want to call them these days. The team that's going to be owned by Magic Johnson or whoever's in the ownership group.
It's a group.
Yeah. So this is an interesting game too, because Washington's one of those teams the last couple years that's very perplexing, right? Because they can be really, really good at times, and they can be really, really crappy, kind of like the 1980s versions of the Lions. So at this point, Bears fans if we're on Anthony's track, we're undefeated, feeling like we're unbeatable, right? Everyone else, we're probably thinking we're 4-1. I'll start with you, Trax. What do you think we do with this game?
Man, I hate to say it, but I think this is going to be. I think this is.
I'll pick it.
All right, we'll go. There we go, Trax.
I think this is going to be a close game, and I think the Commanders are going to take it. I think it's going to become pressure with the Commanders. Then Fields is going to have trouble with that. So, yeah, I think the Commanders get that in a close 1-point victory.
Woody?
Yeah, Washington has, again, a good defensive line. I think they're going to pull it out. I think they're going to win by 6, actually.
All right,
Washington.
Anthony?
I agree with Woody. That defense for the Commanders is still stout. I don't know who their quarterback is, but I know who their head coach is. And Ron Rivera is going to have that defense ready. So that's a loss for the Bears.
Mike?
Well, I agree with you. The defense is good, but I'm going to disagree because with the top 15 offensive line, I say they can hold up and we win in prime time.
All right, so right now we've got a couple 3-2s. We got two 4-1s. For me, when I was looking at this part of the schedule, looking at the Denver and the Washington, I looked at both those games. To me, were kind of toss-ups because Washington at times can have one of the best defenses in the league. We've seen it, and their offense has always been suspect. Yet they somehow find a way to win with whoever Ron Rivera makes the quarterback. It can be Heineke. It can be some dude that was stocking shelves on Tuesday. He seems to find a way to win. This is a game that could be a trap game for the Bears, especially for 4-1, maybe a little too confident going into Washington. I could see this as a 50-50 game, but I'm going to say we're going to take the L on this one and we'll go 3-2. So for most of us are 3-2. We've got a couple 4-1s here after the first 5, which is not bad. Of course, John Dorn probably says we're 0-17 because he thinks Jordan Love is going 17-0, but we'll already have proven in week 1 why John Dorn's an idiot and a Packers fan. All right, let's go to the next 5 games, Mike. All right, week 6, Minnesota Vikings. We'll do these one at a time. So Minnesota Vikings is going to be interesting. I believe this one in Minnesota, Mike?
If the Chicago's on the right, they're at home. If the other team's on the right, we're away.
Oh, I see how you did that. Now I gotta hope my eyes are good enough to see. Okay, so we're at home on this one. We're on the right. You said we're at home.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so Minnesota, they're coming in off the heels of the 13-win season. Mike, what do you think? You think we're gonna take a trip around the world?
Well, with the defense, I think with Minnesota, how terrible it is, it didn't get any better. I got us winning this game.
Yeah, Anthony.
I got us losing this one. I got us losing this one.
So at this point, you're what, 4-2, correct?
Yep.
Okay, Woody.
Yeah, I say we have this, and Robbie Gould gets the winning field goal.
Thanks. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Woody, if I remember,
Yeah.
you're at 4-2 now as well, correct?
Yeah.
Trax.
I feel like even though Fields loses a game-winning drive in the prior week, I think that he seals the deal and throws like a 53-yarder to DJ Moore and sets it up in our own territory for a game-winning field goal. Now I got to say potentially Robbie Gould because I don't know what's going on right now.
Oh, yeah. So Trax, we have a thing. Woody likes always to have the kicker. Last year, every game, Bears win on a last-second field goal by Chris Santos. That's a Woody trademark thing. It's always the kicker for the win. I think you're at 4-2. I'll be at 4-2 as well for this game because, look, here's my thing with Minnesota. The nice thing for Minnesota is early in the season, so the weather's not going to be their speed demons, which we have too. Offensively, they still got some skills. We'll see what they do with Dalvin Cook. But that really bad defense got even worse. And in a division that's going to be basically a shoot-'em-up division the way it's looking right now, I don't see Minnesota being able to hang because all the Bears need to do is make one stop, and that game's over. So, I see Minnesota actually going 0-6 in the division. I don't see them winning a single division game. I see us at 4-2, and that's through week 6. And we hit week 7 when John Dorn is 1-5. Okay, so then we get the Oakland Raiders. I'll start off my prediction on this one. I think we beat the Raiders because just for the fact that Josh McDaniel is the worst fucking coach in NFL history. This man has ruined not one, but 2 franchises in the first years he's taken them over. When he took over Denver, he ruined a playoff quality team. He got a playoff quality team in Oakland, ruined them. For me, it's an easy W. Give it to the Bears. Yeah, they got Brandon Jacobs, but they got Jimmy G. Okay, fine, Jimmy G wins. But no, not against the Bears. That team is got to get rid of that coach. I think McDaniels is fired by week 9. And that's my prediction there. And I'll go to Woody.
I think the Bears have this game. Josh Jacobs, by the way. Brandon Jacobs is probably golfing or eating. I like the Bears in this game. I think Justin Fields is gonna really break out this game, but Bly Nichols is gonna have 3 sacks.
Yeah, it's a hard thing about their defense, right? Half their defense are former Bears, it seems. Yep. Anthony, what do you got in this game?
I like the Bears, and the reason being, I think by this game, Josh McDaniels will have his team in a mess, man, a wreck. I think that Devontae Adams is going to be upset by this game. The locker room is going to be a mess. I picked the Bears.
Yeah, Trax, when you look at this game and you look at Josh McDaniels since he took over this franchise, all I've seen the Raiders do, and I like the Raiders, right? I've liked the Raiders since I was a little kid. I've held the Super Bowl trophies in their LA stores, met some of the players back in the day. He's taken this franchise as or is he just driving it into the ground?
I think that it's going to take some time. I think it's similar to the Denver situation. And in the AFC West, when you got the Chiefs and you got the Chargers, it's really, even though they're might making incremental progress, we might not see it. And it's hard to say. I see what you're saying, but I think that when you look at stuff like when they get Devontae, they got Josh Jacobs, There's things that are happening. So it potentially, I agree with you to a certain extent, Ken, but I think it could go either way. And I actually think that the Raiders take this one, and I'm going to tell you why. I think Josh Jacobs runs through our defensive line, and I also think Jimmy Garoppolo has a better day than Justin Fields because he makes less mistakes, and I just think that it's going to be an off day for us, and the Raiders are going to end up winning by a little bit more than a touchdown, unfortunately.
I mean, in one way, the Raider fan side of me, the side of me that likes the Raiders, I just don't know if the Davis family is going to give McDaniels enough time
to
get where he wants to go because they're seeing the same thing we're seeing. Like when McDaniels got to Denver, they were a playoff caliber team, Cutler and Marshall, all that, and he got rid of everything. And look at Carr is a very capable quarterback, and he basically runs them out of town and replaces him with Jimmy G, who I think is not as good as Carr. But I agree, he's got some weapons. I mean, I think that at this point in the season, the Bears are in a better shape. So after the Raiders game, though,
hold on, can I get my prediction?
I'm sorry. Mike's over there producing. I forgot about him.
Mike, stay on topic, Mike, will you?
Yeah,
I'm on topic. He's trying to go to the next topic. But anyways, I'm kind of with Brandon on this one. Jimmy G is not that bad, and Devontae Adams, we've always had an issue on covering that guy. You know what I mean? You can't rule that out. I don't think. I personally think we're going to lose this game by 4.
Okay. I mean, and like for me, this is that part of the season where I have a lot of 50-50 games. So the homer side of me is taking the Bears, the home field kind of thing. But the Chargers here, that's where the homer thing can go away. So then we get the Chargers, right? And for me, well, I'll go in. This is the Khalil Mack return game. Chargers, had some issues at the end of their season last year, but a really, really good team. And because I almost missed Mike, we'll go to you first. What are you thinking about this Chargers game?
I personally think this is where we're going to have a 2-game losing streak right here. San Diego Chargers got a great offense. I love their running back. They got Allen and Williams. Like Herbert isn't bad. He's pretty good. So I don't think we're going to win this game.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony, you see it any different or?
No, I think we'll lose this game because I'm thinking like we still don't have those DNs and
Right.
Herbert, man, running. We still haven't solidified our defensive ends position. So yeah, this is a loss. Mm-hmm.
Trax, what do you think?
Yeah, man, I'd have to agree with Anthony on this one. I mean, honestly, I think the Bears fans come out, they represent, but
Always.
Herbert's going to do what Herbert does. He's going to throw for 300 yards, and we don't have that pass rush quite yet. As of right now, we don't see that, right? But I mean, this could potentially change because Poles he might create a trade or something. And now Anthony and I are backpedaling and saying, "Hold on, scratch that. Let's come back and do another show."
That's why it's pre.
Right. That's why these are the way too early predictions, and obviously, as we'll get to later in the show, we're not done yet. So there's still more work to do. So I mean, based off that, though, Woody, at this point, are you thinking we have no? He's just already shaking his head. Dude, don't even ask me.
No, another defensive line, the defensive problem that we're going to have. You got Bosa on one side, Mack. And Herbert. I mean, he can. With Mike Williams, they showed it last year how they can connect.
Yeah,
we're going to lose by like either 10 or 14 this game.
Yeah, this is that point of the season. If we're doing as well as we think we might be doing with our way too early predictions that John Dorn can't. Hey, what's up, CNG guys? Can't seem to get his head. This is going to be a smack in the face game because we're going to be. I mean, the good thing is we'll have some good momentum. We'll be feeling good, and then we're going to hit that brick wall of reality that says, "Hey, you're not there yet." And
Ken,
I think,
I got that nugget of the day though. I think Chase Claypool gets his first touchdown of the year, and I think that our boy Velus Jones does a jet sweep for a touchdown as well.
Good. Hopefully he doesn't fumble, please. I was at that Giants game last year.
And this is what was this week 8? I hope Claypool's had a touchdown well before week 8.
I agree with Ken 100%.
So now we go to week 9. We get the New Orleans Saints, which once again, this is a very interesting team. They've had some changes. They've been trying to find their way. And even if they've been trying to find their way, though, the Saints are not a garbage bottom-dwelling team. They still have some pop to them. They got some threats offensively and defensively. You still got Kamara. You still got Thomas. You still got good defense there. They've been looking for their identity. Hell, they still got Tyson Hill. They got the Swiss Army knife, so they got some weapons. So coming into this game, are we looking possibly at another loss, Woody?
Yep. Yeah, Kamara, one of the best running backs coming out of the backfield. Another good defensive line, like you said, 3 threat with Tyson Hill. I don't see us, and they actually re-signed Michael Thomas. If I'm correct. So yeah, I don't see us winning this game either.
And to add to Woody, the only thing I would add to Woody is I believe Michael Thomas will have his breakout year like he used to have, and not just be like, no offense, Allen Robinson that just fell off.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll go to Trax. Looking at like what Woody and Mike said, and they actually have a quarterback this year, right? That was their problem last year.
That's
now
Ken's
you've got
boy,
Derek freaking Carr, who's like more than competent of a quarterback who can actually win you games.
That's Ken's boy.
I honestly think that the Saints come in as favorites on this one, but the Bears pull off a mild upset and defeat the first place Saints. I think that rookie Tyreek Stevenson scoops up a fumble and returns it to the house. Even though Fields isn't the sharpest, he does hook up with Tyler Scott on a long bomb on his first career touchdown. I'm excited about that.
Man,
Trax, you're really specific.
He's run the game simulator on every game already.
I was ready for Anthony, man. Once he told me that I was coming to go to Mike, I know you guys do it big, so I did my homework, bro.
Wow.
Anthony, where are you at on the Saints game, brother?
Hey, I'm chalking this as an L. We solidified the interior of that defensive line, man. I like Sanborn at the linebacker, the 2 linebackers we have, but can the Bears stop the run?
Yeah.
Can they stop the run in that dome? Nah, I don't think so. I take this a L.
And this is a game that if things go right, me and CJ will be at. Because it's our neck of the woods. I'm down in the Panhandle. He's just a little west of me. Way to NOLA. So, but yeah, this is one of those games. Now we're getting that part of the season where I think, to some degree, the wheels are going to fall off the Bears, right? Because we're starting off, 6-2 or whatever, 5-3. I think we're going to see some more L's come. I think this is one that could very easily be an L for the Bears because I think the Saints, like Track said, they're going to be the first place team in that division at this point. A lot of people are sleeping on them based off of last year's identity crisis, but I think they fixed that identity crisis. There we go. Once they signed Derek Carr, because he automatically gave them an identity, and that's going to be a game I think we lose as well. So hopefully now we're at about a 2-game to 3-game losing streak, depending on which one of the panel members you agree with, and then we get which will be a very interesting game, Thursday night football. Right? We get the Carolina Panthers, who of course. Some will say we fleeced in the trade in the offseason, which we'll talk about the offseason deals in a little bit. But that's going to be an interesting game with their new quarterback and wide receiver duo and our brand new wide receiver. Thanks to them, this is going to be a really good game. Anthony, where are you at on this one?
Man, we'll be playing a last place team. This is definitely a W. And actually, I'm hoping that they win no more than 5 games, man. But this is definitely a win for the Bears. Definitely.
Let me make this one easy. Does anyone not see the Bears winning this game?
No, but I do see Moore getting 150 receiving yards in this game.
I see him going off on his old team.
That's what I see.
And
not to mention, we'll have a rotational movement on the defense. I think we're weak on the defensive edges, but I believe Walker will have a sack.
And you got to think, though, this is our only, I believe, primetime game of the year.
No, we got 4.
Yeah, a home game.
Yeah, my bad.
We're not losing this game.
Yeah. So, I don't see us losing this game. And I'm hoping Carolina gets like a top 3 pick because then we have the top, I hope they have the worst record in the league and we get the number 1 pick 2 years in a row. Wouldn't that be awesome if we could flip a number 1 pick again? Yeah. So I think we all agree Carolina, that's a W. Throw it up in the win column. Now we're coming more towards the back end. Week 11, this is where we get some strangeness going on, right? Because we're going to see the Lions twice. So it's we get them away, then we get them at home, correct? Yeah. So the Lions here in week 11. Now, look, the Lions have some reason to make some noise. They have some reason to be favorites, right? They finished the last half of the last season going on a tear, making sure that John Dorn was crying on his couch watching the playoffs from home because they made sure the Green Bay Packers weren't there. So they are on a high right now, and they have reason to think that they're going to be a good team. Most people have good reason to think. So, Trax, I'll start with you. Do you see us even touching the Lions in either of our games this year?
I do, but not this one. I think that Aiden Hutchinson finds his way with the Bears offensive line. I think he's going to go off and get Fields twice with multiple sacks, and Jared Goff looks solid. So I've got them beating us by a couple multiple touchdowns.
Anthony?
I got the Bears winning this one. I think that the offenses, everybody knows what they run. I think there was a rah-rah year. It was a rah-rah year last year for them. The coach pumped them up, man. I think the Lions are the Lions. Let me just put it like that. I think the Lions will be the Lions. Jared Goff is an average quarterback, and I think the Bears are going to get at him. And I think on the secondary, between Mooney and DJ Moore, Fields going to light them kids. He's going to light the Lions up, man. The Lions are going to be the Lions. Yeah.
So I know that the Lions are in practice facilities at the casino where they just got their new hooker. So do you think though that we can beat them, or playing at Ford Field, is this pretty much like a Lions coming out party and a Montgomery revenge game?
Yeah, like I said, before the draft, I said Detroit's going to win this division this year. Mark that point. Even though they lost Swift to the Eagles, he couldn't stay on the field anyway. But I don't see us winning this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I think I got everyone right. So I'm gonna take this as a loss too, because the Lions, man, they did get better. They got a heck of a lot better in the offseason. And I'm interested to see what they're going to be doing offensively, because they signed Montgomery, but then the number 6 pick in the draft, take a running back. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they're doing here and where they're at this point in the season. I have to give this one to the Lions as well. So that'll be we'll take the L there. And yeah, Mike, did I miss you?
Yeah, second time, but it's cool. Strike 2. But no, I'm with Woody on this. I think the Lions definitely improved. I don't agree the same old Lions. I think on paper they look good. I got them winning the division, and at home, I think that Montgomery is going to have a big game against us, because I'm a huge Montgomery fan. He is not that bad. He's a good blocker. So I'm going to go Lions this game.
Yeah. All right, so I almost skipped Mike again, but we all take the line. Everyone takes the Lions. So then we go on to Minnesota, the second meeting of Minnesota. And, well, first off, I'll just make this one easy. Does anyone think Minnesota is going to beat us, let alone any team in the division this year?
No.
Okay, so that's a W. Moving back on, we're going. See how easy it is to dispatch.
Well, not to mention, though, you don't know what's going on with Cook, because I heard that they literally dropped him off one of their sites, which I won't mess it.
Yeah, but look, they're a little quasi up there. So
go ahead, Trax. I'm sorry, Ken. You were really fast on that one. I'm not used to this. I'm usually the other way around. I'm the Ken. So look really quick. I think Justin Jefferson is out on this one. He's nursing an injury, and I think that Jalen Johnson is out on this one, and Justin Jefferson torches us, and they ended up winning a very close game by like 7-8 points.
Okay, so he's got the Vikings actually winning a game in the North. Here's the thing with the Vikings. I think their defense is going to be on the field so much, and their offense is, especially if Dalvin Cook is gone, it makes Justin Jefferson's job that much harder. So I still think they're in full rebuild, and if they can find a way to trade Justin Jefferson by trade deadline, they may do it just to clear cap if they can get good value for the draft. So but I don't see I really don't see the Lions or the Vikings winning a game in the division. Now we come to the home game, though, week 14, bear weather. You know, we're in the throes of winter, and we get, you know, we feel good. Hopefully we feel good, except for Trax because he has losing last week. The rest of us are feeling good because we just beat up a division rival. All right, guys. Mike, can we beat them at home?
Definitely. I think we beat them at home. It's not like playing in a dome. I think we split with the Lions because you got to rewind back to last year. We didn't lose by them by much. We lost to them by an extra point miss. That's why I think that we're going to get gold by after June 1st. You know, I've been saying it for a month, but we'll just have to wait and see.
We know what topic Mike wants to talk about in a few minutes. Where are you at?
It's going to be tough, Detroit. I mean, they're like I said, I picked them to again win the division, and they beat us. I know it's just a missed extra point last year. I don't know. I'm going to pick Detroit this game too. I think they're going to sweep us this year.
They're going to sweep us 2 years in a row? Come
Absolutely.
on, Woody. What about that last second field goal? I love you for that. Come on.
No, because there was a missed extra point last year. So
yeah, but we'll stay on topic. Okay.
Hey, Trax, didn't the Lions like destroy us in the second meeting last year?
It was pretty bad. It was embarrassing.
Yeah. Do you think we can pull out the home win this year against them?
Actually, I think we're going to do it in overtime, and this is going to be the help me out, Tremaine Edmonds, right? Yep. It's going to be his game. He's going to bottle up both Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, and he's also going to cause a fumble and has an interception and sacks golf. He's going to go off like a prom dress. It's going to be crazy.
Man, you got to think though. You know, like you said, Trax before about Hutchinson. He played at Michigan. He's used to this cold weather, and he probably has his extra special spikes out there. Let me tell you, he's gonna
pantyhose.
He's gonna be He's gonna be top 3 in sacks this year.
Yeah, no, pantyhose is over. They were Under Armour, right? I'm going back to the old days. Yeah.
And Anthony, though, I mean, what in Trax for an interesting point. I mean, look, it's an NFC North team. Is there such thing as an outdoor advantage against an NFC North team?
It's not, man. I'm telling you how I feel about the Lions. The Lions are still the Lions. I said we'll beat them in Ford Field, and we'll definitely beat them at Soldier Field. That management. They have a good team, but that management is garbage, man. They're trash. They're going to find a way to revert back to themselves. I think that Jared Goff caught lightning in a bottle last year, right? I think that management is still that same management. I think that was a rah-rah year last year, and I think the Lions are trash, and we'll sweep them.
Ooh, hey, Russell. I hope you're watching us, Russell. Shots fired for our main event 365 guys. Shots fired. Look if the guys at main event 365 are watching, they can record this. Mike, put me on the screen by myself when I say this because they're not going to believe me. Russell, you will be sweeping the Bears this year because I don't see us beating you even at Soldier Field. Nope. You guys are probably going to have the best season you've had in 30-plus years and 3 decades, because the last time you guys won a playoff game, none of your players on your team were even alive because it was in the fall of 1991. This is your year. You might get a chance to win a playoff game. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with Anthony because Brad Holmes has done a phenomenal job with the Lions. They have all new management, even with the gambling little stuff. You know, we like to poke a little fun at them, but the casino, and they drafted a hooker. Look, at this team drafted a hooker because they could. It was a luxury. They could draft Hooker to be the guy in the future. I think you're dead wrong on Goff. He's had more than one bottle lightning year. The Lions are the cream of the crop in the division this year, and I think we lose twice to them.
Yep.
I have spoken. There you go.
And we agreed. Holy shit.
So now we get a weird one. See, this is the first time I think I've seen this in the schedule. So then we go to the Watson – don't get a massage from them in Cleveland game. Time to be determined. This could be because look, this is the part. I think there's a reason why they did TBT, because this Bears team and this division really, like, we've seen predictions with, like, I've seen predictions all 4 teams winning 9 or 10 games. This is one of those games where even John Dorn is going to be like, I might not want to play the Bears at this point in the season, where we can be playoff wreckers. And Cleveland, the NFL's got to be like, they're an interesting team. They have some hype. This could be a good Thursday. It could be a good flex. So I think that's why we TBT'd it. But what do you guys think about the actual winning or losing of this game? Well, I'll start with Trax.
You guys are going to hate me, man, because despite the anemic game that we're going to have next week against the Cardinals, I really think that the Browns come up and we fall short with like a 1-point freaking loss and end up 7-7. And even though the Bears are in a great shape for playoff berth, especially, I just think that it's going to be a loss, and Deshaun Watson's going to outshine, and our offense isn't going to have enough to keep up with the Browns that game.
Yeah, Mike, I hope you haven't made any bets with any guys in Cleveland's for going to the massage parlor or anything, but what do you think this game's going to look like?
I'm not a huge Watson fan, and like I said, I think we're going to have hopefully the top 15 offensive line and top 10 offense, and I think we can keep up with them, and I got us winning this game.
I hope that's right.
Anthony, what about you?
I got us getting blown out. I got us getting blown out in this game. I got Deshaun Watson going off, running for almost 150 yards. I got that defense terrorizing Fields. Yeah, I marked this as an L.
How about you, Woody?
Well, I would pick the Bears if we had Mike Brown in that legendary game that we played against them, but we don't. But what team can stop Chubb? I don't see us stopping Chubbs. I think this is a loss.
Good point.
And, I think I'm gonna take the L on this one too, because Mike said, who's he throwing to? Well, Amari freaking Cooper. That's one of the guys he's throwing to. So,
but we don't have a bad defensive backfield. I don't want to try to go off topic, but I think we're going to upgrade the defensive line to help it out.
Oh my God, he's off topic.
But Mike, based off our way too early predictions, and we don't have that yet. I'm going with what we have today. With what we have today, I can see the game being a W or being a loss. I mean, in the dog pound. Here's the problem with Cleveland, right? It's which Deshaun Watson are you going to get? Are you getting the Deshaun Watson from the last 4 games last year, or the one who tore the league apart when he was at the Texans? If it's the tore the league apart of the Texans, they're going to win a heck of a lot of games that a lot of people don't see them winning. I see them beating us because I think they're going to get the Deshaun Watson that they signed all that guaranteed money. Like, this guy is going to have a bomb season, and people are going to be like, holy crap. Yeah, Zadarius Smith is now with the Browns. That improved their defense.
Best thing Dorn said all night.
Yeah, as much as John Dorn thinks he sucks, Zadarius Smith hurt them last year, right, when they played against them. So, I mean, look, the Browns are not a bad football team. Oh. I think we're just so used to the Browns losing. It's like the Cubs being the lovable losers.
Wait, did John Dorn just say Packers are sweeping the division?
Well,
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Ever since they got medical marijuana, John Dorn's been on a non-stop binge. Okay?
I'm sorry, I'm off topic. I just had a heart attack.
Yeah. So
it's comments. Refer to the comments, which is good.
Yeah. So after the Browns game, now we're in the home stretch, right? So week 16, the Arizona Cardinals. I'll start off on this one. So for me, here's my thing with Arizona. They got quarterback issues with Kyler Murray, but they got some weapons. They got some tools. They got some guys who demanded trades, but then, well, wait a minute, don't trade me. So they think something's going on here. I mean, that's weird. When you have high-profile guys like D-Hop, I want to trade, and then they back off that. To me, that says something happened that's making them trend in the right direction, where these kind of star guys want to stay. So I think the Bears get a W here, but I don't think it's a cakewalk. I think it's a close game. Kyler Murray, for all the crap we give him about being short, needing to do well, he has some gem of games, doesn't he? He's had some games where he's made our jaws collectively drop. But I think we're going to take an L on this one. I think this is one that we're going to walk into thinking we're going to win this, and we're going to walk out with an L. And then I'll go to Mike.
I actually got this one chalked up as well. I don't really like short quarterbacks. I beat up a couple of them. which I won't mention. You know what I mean? But like you said, they got good offense. Murray with D Hop still, so I just think we take the L on this one.
What about you, Woody?
I picked us to win. I think Cardinals are going to be 2-15 this year.
Wow.
This is the one I chalked up as a win.
Hey, so let me throw it to you this way, Track. So based off of what he just said, but hey, if we let them win, that means Carolina gets their one pick. Just saying, no. What do you really think's going to happen on this game?
I think the Bears are pissed off because of last week's rough loss and take it out on the hopeless Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
Justin Fields is going to run for a score. He's going to pass for 2, and Rashawn Johnson, steadily improving, is going to pound it for 2 touchdowns, and the Bears cruise in this one.
I guarantee if Dennis Green was the coach, we all picked the Bears to win.
Hey, Track. So as soon as you've run game simulation on this, how many touchdowns are our tight ends getting here?
So far,
I haven't heard.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I haven't heard you talk about any tight ends, but
yeah,
maybe that's the last weeks. But yeah,
he said, "Well, this guy's gonna have a touch on this guy. Our tight ends must not score a single point all year." I don't know, Tracks.
No, I did say earlier Cole Kmet. Remember, I said Cole Kmet gets one. The one that Mooney gets one and DJ Moore. So he was in there, man. But it's
I forgot.
I must have missed
the chips, man. You got to do. I was a left tackle. I remember the tight end helping me out with that chip block with the fast guys like Mike coming around the corner and stuff. Like, hey, man, thank you, man.
We went out and got Tunyon for a reason. So I said the tight ends are going to be our dark horse this year.
Yeah, Anthony.
You know what? First of all, we don't even know if Kyler Murray will be playing. He's still injured.
D-Hop will be back then, though.
Yeah, he's injured. Kyler Murray is injured right now.
But he'll be.
They don't know. They don't even know if he's going to be playing. You know what I'm saying? And D-Hop is saying like, yeah, okay, I'm good now. I want to stay. Of course he wants to stay because no one wants to sign him, man. He's past his prime.
No.
But anyway, long story short, this is a win. This is definitely a win for the Bears because if Murray does play, he'll be just coming back. But his season is in doubt now, man. Need to look that up.
I wouldn't say he's done personally. I mean, do you think nobody wants Cook? It's probably what the value they want for him. You know what I mean?
Cook? Yeah, because I mean that'd be interesting. What's it if Dalvin Cook went to Arizona? That'd be very intriguing in Arizona, actually. I think, though, and we could talk about Dalvin Cook after we finish the season off, and maybe we should add that for tonight because I think there are a couple destinations we could talk about. But Arizona, this could also kind of be somewhat of a trap game, because people's minds like, oh, Arizona's done, put a fork in, just like Cleveland. And this is that part of the season where you might get some trap games where you think this is a W and a team comes out and smacks you in the face.
Well, who's going to quarterback? Off of you, Ken. Who's going to be the quarterback? Who's going to quarterback?
Well, it's going to be the short, little dysfunctional kid probably by that point.
I think Murray will be back then. For sure. I believe he will be back then, 100%.
And then after this Arizona game, now we get the last 2 games are awesome. So we get a revenge game, right? We get a revenge game. We get the medium, the Texas Longhorn running backs, Bijan versus the backup. The game we lost literally because Chris Santos, Woody, missed an extra point, and we literally lost the game by 1 last year. So do we get a revenge, Anthony, or do they get us again?
We get them. We get them. This year we get them. Yep, handily. It's gonna be a blowout. Yeah.
Woody?
They improved dramatically, and I think the last win we had against them is the Nick Foles crap when he came into the game.
Run to the letter. To the letter. Just saying.
Honestly, I think Atlanta gives us an L that week. I really do.
Mike,
they improved dramatically.
Well, they did improve, but who's their quarterback?
Does it matter?
Yeah, it matters.
Yes.
No, it doesn't
Yes.
matter.
Yes.
They got Cho as a kicker.
That doesn't matter. I believe we take this W. That's what I believe. I think we take the W and dirty bird it up.
Ken, you should have skipped him.
I know, right? So
He can if he'd like. He tried twice, but I kind of jumped in.
So Trax, I have a bigger question for you. I mean, the W and the L is a part of that question, but you know, Roshan was behind Bijan in college, right? Now, does the student teach the master, and is Roshan beat up on Bijan, or does Bijan say, "Sit your happy ass down, I'm still the king"?
Bijan rolls for 150 and accounting for 150 and 2 touchdowns. So that's enough for the Bears to drop on a tough one, even though a win here in week 18 against the Packers could give the Bears a division championship. We're going to fall short, and we're going to end up being 8-8.
Wow. Okay. So for me, this is interesting. I like the whole Bijan Roshan aspect. And the one aspect we missed in the Lions game.
Awesome. I like how you did that.
Is going to be the Lions game. It's going to be 2 sets of brothers playing against each other. Sowell and St. Brown, right? So those are going to be good. But this one's going to be good because you had the guy who was the backup and the guy who was the starter. Now, look, it's no secret. I love the Bijan. I thought we should have taken Bijan, generational talent. This is a hard one for the Bears, too. And you know what? We just don't seem to do well against Atlanta the last couple of years. And they still got Cordero Patterson, who's going to run back their punts and their kicks. I think we drop one here. I really do. I think we drop one. I'd like to say we'd win.
Who's their quarterback?
It could be Mike.
Could it be like the following year? Because I remember going to the Halloween game in the Niners and they lost. And then we played them the next year. I said, we're going to fucking win. I don't care if it was earlier in the year with injuries, whatever. We won.
Look, it could be their quarterback. You know what? I'll make this. This is how good Atlanta can be. Their quarterback could be Mike right now, who never has to even throw a pass. Because here's what you do: Bijan. Oh, we got stopped, but we're within 52 yards. Chew. I mean. Yeah, they are, and last year they won games they should have lost.
So let me ask you this, Ken.
Yeah.
So you don't believe in the Bears linebackers and that defensive front? So you think Bijan is just gonna run through that just like Trax said? You think the Bears are gonna let him just run 150 yards on them?
Yeah, you know why? Because they're gonna pound the ball so damn much. They're going to wear you down, and they've got the running team between that and Cordero. They can do that. They can pound you into oblivion, and they don't have to look at. If they get within 60 yards, that's 3 points, regardless. A 60-yard field goal for them is automatic every day with Chew. That's points, especially in a dome. I mean, and for whatever reason, it's kind of like. And here's another reason, Anthony. I'll say we take the L. It's kind of like the Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers the last 3 years. When the Packers are dominating the division, they cannot figure out the hapless Detroit Lions at the time, right? Detroit beat them in Green Bay 2 years ago. They beat them last year. I mean, it's just that some teams have your number. San Francisco, Green Bay could never beat San Francisco. Well, we have the same kind of thing going on right now with Atlanta. And I agree. I think at this point we're right around that 8-8 mark. I think for most of us, actually, except for you, Anthony. I think with you, we're like 12-5 or something at this point.
No, I'm not 12-5, man.
He's 11-4. I think.
Which
I'm not.
In though to the biggest game of the year, TBD. If this one is not prime time, I think we're going to be a prime time game for the following reasons: 1, the Bears are at this point going to be a dark horse playoff contention. 2, the Packers, if Jordan Love is decent, could be in dark horse playoff contention. 3, it's the best rivalry in football, right? If one or both these teams are in contention, if the Bears are in contention, let's say the Packers aren't, it won't matter. They'll still be prime time because it's Bears-Packers for a playoff spot. And this game, well, I already said it earlier, the Packers are not beating the Bears at all this year. John Dorn is going to be in his house singing the G. Giles band going, "Love Stinks." And they're going to be shopping for a new quarterback. Because you know what? John Dorn, if you're watching, I know you are, I'm going to give your GM props right now. Gutekunst did you a favor by not doing a fifth-year option. You know why? Because he can cut and sling load, good old Army term there, cut, sling, load, and jettison that worthless quarterback that's been sucking up money on your bench for the last couple of years out the door and not have to pay him anything for the following year. Whereas if you had a fifth-year option, you're a little more stuck, and it costs you like 22 versus 13 because I don't think he's going to make even half the incentives in that contract. John Dorn, you're looking for a quarterback at the end of this year. Jordan Love's going to be gone, and the Bears are going to beat you. And then at that, you know what, Mike? Just keep beating on John Dorn, will you?
Actually, I'll go last on this one. I'll beat him up in a minute.
All right, so we'll go to Woody because I know Woody likes to beat up on John Dorn.
I do. Because John Dorn makes fun of me all the time, but I'm sorry, I don't see us sweeping them this year. I don't. I think Green Bay has us the last game.
Ah,
that's just hey,
killed it.
Way too early predictions. That's just my prediction.
Yeah.
I said 7-10 this year, and I'm sticking by it.
All right, Trax, what say you? Oh,
You're muted.
You're muted.
Unmute
Trax,
yourself.
you're muted. There you go.
The Bears need a win and a little help to get the seventh and final playoff seed in the NFC, and so do the Packers. And I actually think by a small margin that we win by four points. It's a little bumpy because of the frigid temperatures, and neither team's going to look really good. But the Bears win their final game of the season, and the Packers miss the playoffs and dropping their final last loss. So I'm really excited about that.
So Trax, who's getting me the game-winning score? Who's game-winning score, Trax? Who's going to get it?
Well, you know what? That's a good question. This is the only one that I didn't figure that out because of the weather. The weather's going to be so.
I'm going to help you out.
Okay.
Brisker's going to have a pick six.
Oh, I love it! I love it.
Anthony, how about you, brother? Where are you at on the final?
This is the one. This is the one that gets us the division. This is 10-7. This is a W, and this wins us the division at 10-7. Yep.
All right, Mike. You won last. You got last.
Well, Jordan Love hasn't proven anything. He's barely played. It's a big what if. And if you rewind back from last year, they had the most drops in the NFL, and that was with Rodgers. It's a brand new quarterback coming in. I'm not going to say they're going to have the most drops this year, but we get our revenge on them. And I'm going to rewind back from before the draft, before the offseason, everything. I think we're going to be the Jags, but I'm not with Anthony. I don't think we're going to win the division. I think the Lions win the division, but I think we get that last playoff spot.
So, Mike, have you been keeping the tally? Have you been keeping the tally on this?
I could always rewatch. It's recorded.
We'll rewatch. I think most of us are around 9 or 10 wins, except for right around there. And look at, I've been pretty much saying we're between 6 to 9. But looking at the games in the way too early, I think I'm around the 9 spot as well, which is probably about where we think we should probably be in a rebuild. Yeah. So as we look at that too, let's look at the offseason. So, I'll start with you, Trax. What do you think of what we did via draft and free agency so far this offseason? Do you think Poles has done a good job? Do you think there's room for improvement with what he's done?
I think he's done a great job, and he's got that poker face on. I would totally lose all my money. My wife would divorce me because he's got that poker face, and I would lose the house and everything, bro. I have no idea what he's going to do. I do believe that he's probably going to potentially go out and get us some pass rushers, and we're going to try to figure out what's going on with all of that after the fact, because that is a huge part in some of these games that could go either or. But on a sidebar, I do want to tell you something. There's a guy that that Vegas, they have a place maker. They place their bets and everything after this guy's done, and he runs a simulation right after the draft. Okay, and he decides which each team's going to do, and then after that, everybody starts to place their bets after he's done. He's like Nostradamus after the draft, right? He said the Bears are going to end up being with 7 wins. So, but he also said you could potentially get a 1 or 2 more depending on if they're healthy, or 1 or 2 less if they're unhealthy, which we all know that, and depending on how well the rookies gel and all the free agents that we pick up. So, because there's a lot of moving pieces that we're not used to. This is a whole new deal. You know what I'm saying? So I think we're all right on brand. We're all right on track. We're not way too out of, I honestly, I thought Anthony was way more positive in his, guesses than I did. And for us to only be 1 win away from each other, I feel pretty good about that,
Anthony, he called you. He just put you on blast, kind of.
No, I think it's good.
No, I'm just trying to get him talking. So, Anthony, the offseason, what do you like? What do you dislike? What are you thinking about our offseason so far?
You know what? I like what Poles did, and I like what he's doing. He's not showing his hand. It's just like when he brought Carter in 4 times. Everyone knew that he brought Carter in 4 times. He let it be known that he brought Carter in 4 times for workouts. But everyone was pointing the finger at what's the kid's name? The malcontent?
Yeah, I know who you're saying.
Jalen Carter.
Yeah,
Jalen Carter. Right? He brought Jalen Carter in. And hold on, I'm offline, man. Go ahead.
Hey, Woody, how about you?
Yep.
What do you think of the offseason?
I like it. Like I said, I gave the Bears or Poles a B in the draft. I like the Edmonds pickup, the TJ Edwards from the Eagles, plus Sewell, the linebacker in the draft.
Yeah.
I like the Nate Davis pickup for the offensive line. So, like I said, he's doing his shit. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. We just need that like 1 more edge rusher, and we could be a contender.
Well, and the nice thing is this, like I've said this for the last couple months. This is not a 1-year project, right? It's a 2-year.
Just 1, Woody? You think all we need is 1?
It's tough. I mean, Justin Jones, he's got to prove himself again. This year, I think he was in the backfield a lot, and he got a lot of tackles and stuff like that. But we got to just start out with 1 and see what the linebackers can do. With us finishing last in sacks last year, we do need that edge rush to get in there to sack the quarterback.
Yeah, and I agree with Woody on that because look, I agree. We only really need the 1 because, like I was saying, this is a 2-year project. We're not all in this year. Next year, we have 2 number 1s. We have a lot of draft picks and $100 million to spend. And we're going to talk money here in a minute. If we pick up an edge, we just need the 1. And then we see where we're at with what we've already got under contract. And most of these guys we've been bringing in are about 24, 25. We're doing 2, 3, 4-year deals. So we've got a great foundation. I'm happy. And I'll tell you what, I only differ in what Woody said in what I give him for the draft. I give him an A because in the draft, I include DJ Moore and Claypool because Claypool was the 32nd pick overall in the draft this year because that was our pick. We gave up the 32nd pick in the draft for Claypool. He counts for me as part of the haul, and obviously DJ Moore does because that was part of the number 1 pick haul. That's the only reason I differ from Woody, and I give him an A. And that's just the way I kind of look at it a little bit differently. And I think the offseason we made all the steps in the right direction. And I'm going to let Mike finish this topic out while at the same time opening the next topic. And that is, Mike, what are you thinking about, what we've done so far, and then what do you think we're going to do with the remaining money that we still have to spend because we're still in violation of NFL rules and NFLPA agreements. We have to spend roughly $15 million more of the salary cap. So what do you think we're going to spend it on, and what do you think how we've done so far this offseason?
I think Poles has been doing an amazing job, honestly, because I can rewind back a couple big moves that he made that I just scratched my head on. For instance, like the Roquan Smith trade. I was, no offense, I was pissed off when I first heard it when I was at work because someone told me, and I'm like, no, they didn't trade him. They didn't trade him. But then after I realized what was going on, hey, they did their last agreement. This is what you were going to give you. They didn't agree to it. So why not get something than nothing? And we weren't doing anything last year, anyways. So Poles has also done future picks for next year. You know what I mean? He's been doing an amazing job. I feel like he's the best GM the Bears had since I've been alive. That's just my opinion, and I like everything that he's doing. It's definitely a two-year project for sure, but like you said, they got to spend the money, roughly $15 million. I feel like they're going to help out that defensive line because I don't feel like our edge rushers are starters. We got good rotationals, we just ain't got good starters. If we get somebody like Yannick that'll, take about 10 million per year, I think Eberflus and him jump on it. He's still out there. I've said it from before the draft, before free agency even started. That was my main pickup to help out that defensive line. I didn't think they were going to do a big splash with TJ Edwards or Edmonds. I'm glad they did because, for one, what Roquan Smith is getting this year, Sanborn, Edwards, and Edmonds is cheaper on the books for all three than just the one. And not to mention, Sanborn came in from Roquan and played great. We didn't know what he was. All of a sudden, he just came in and pow, he made authority. I am a huge Sewell fan, so I think he's got his cut out for him for that starting position. I feel like he's going to keep the spot, but by the end of the year, I think Sewell will have it. That's just my opinion. I'm pretty high on Sewell. He's looked great in film. And not to mention, spend a little bit more money, and we're going to get that Robbie Gold that I've been saying. We're going to cut Santos and get Robbie Gold because I can't stand missing 7 extra points. It's a chip shot. It's not that hard.
So there you go. I mean, Trax, you were like, uh-oh, something's going on where you guys aren't telling me. Well, there you go. So our hypothesis over the last couple of months is this. And here's how it starts. Robbie Gold decides he doesn't want to re-sign. He's going to look for different things. Immediately, the rumors start about Chicago. Everyone shoots it down to include Robbie Gold. Robbie, right before the draft, says, I'd love to play for Chicago. Now, here's the thing. If you're not aware, which I'm sure you are, Robbie lives in Chicago, never left the city when he left the Bears. He's a season ticket holder for the Blackhawks and the Bulls and goes to a lot of Cubs games, right? He's still a big part of this city. So the idea is you cut Santos, which gives you a $4 million cap savings on cap savings after June 1st. And then you re-sign Gold somewhere for around $2 or $3 million. And that's part of the $15 million we think we're going to be
give them all 4 because
give them all 4.
Yeah.
All right, so
that's just my opinion. Well, think about it, Ken.
Yeah.
He was a walk-on. He was a construction worker like I was. Did a walk-on.
No, look,
and he's
Mike,
the leading point
sense.
scorer for the Bears. I love the kid.
Let's say we give him the $4 million. We still got $15 million to spend. So, Trax, first, what do you think about a Robbie Gold scenario? And second, where do you think we're spending that $15 million we got to spend?
I love it. I'm looking at the Justin Houston that they're making they're saying that, potentially we're going to go after him. I'm a little nervous because he's 34 years old and we just released some aging all-stars that were, pass rushers. So I don't really know what the heck's going on. I do like John Dorn's comment right down there. Bring Floyd back. I think that potentially could help out. But also, when I had Tommy Harris on our show, he said that basically in that 4-3, defensive scheme that they have, that you would look at that type of cover 2, right, that we're running. And I asked him, how important is that position that you run, in that 3 technique? And he goes, well, I'll tell you, at that position, the 3 technique is the ignition that gets the engine going. So I think with that pass rush on the interior, we are going to see some diamonds in the rough that we potentially already have on the team. And I also want to dovetail with what Woody said. I do think that one more guy's going to make it happen. I'm hoping for that pass rusher, Frank. Help me out. Clark?
Ward.
over in Kansas City. I'm hoping that we potentially pick him up just because continuity, Chiefs, blah, 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 whatever. I think it'll work out. But, I mean, I like the Floyd deal. I think we're going to be surprised at what we have on our team, and we were missing that interior push because Tommy Harris, when he played, he always would demand double coverage from either the A gap and the B gap, and you'd have to get one or two guys on him at all times, you know what I mean? Which frees up those outside guys, you know what I'm trying to say? So I'm looking at that, but I'm not saying that that's a for sure thing until they play. I don't know, you know what I mean?
I agree to a point, but if you think about what Poles said, he's basically saying we're building through the draft, and he's not going to get anybody 30 years or older. I believe 27, 28 is his max. Yeah, roughly what Yannick is, because you got to go back and look at what he said. You know what I mean? I like the players. I really like them for sure. I just think he's going to go a different way, younger. I personally don't think they'll get Clowney. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think the age limit's a little steep, personally, for him.
Well, we already know Chase Young's out there. I saw several articles.
Yeah, that was weeks ago. I was just putting it for an example.
Chase Young is out of the picture for this year, maybe not next year. Anthony, I think I already know where you're spending the money. You're going straight to defensive end, so let me know about it.
So that's what I was about to say. I'm liking Yanni. I'm liking Yanni, and I'm thinking that's why Poles hasn't said anything, man. Everybody keeps talking about Chase Young, right? And Poles hasn't said anything. It's going to be Yanni. And the best part about it, and I'm going to piggyback off of what Mike said, as far as the linebacker position, that Mike position is going to end up Swole's position. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be his position. That kid is a thumper, right? And I figure by the 7th game, he'll be starting, and Yannick will be coming up that end. He'll be coming up that end. I think Poles has done a masterful job of not showing his hand. But I think that's the way it's gonna pan out. We're gonna get Yannick, and then you know what I'm saying, we're gonna wait until the cuts, that 35, when every team has to cut 35 players, and then we're gonna grab another DN, and the Bears are gonna roll, man. Especially with that middle linebacker. That kid from Oregon. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think Poles makes the trigger, but if you go and look at like some of the stuff that's out there, I know you can't listen to everything that's out there, you know what I mean? But he's not just looking for free agency. He's possibly looking to trade.
Yeah.
Really, whose is it? You know what I mean? Because Poles has done a wonderful job. You never knew what he was going to do. Like, nobody guessed anything again this year in the draft except for a couple players. One person, which was Woody, give him a lot of credit to, picked the running back, Roshan, in the right number, round, everything. The only one to do it out of 6 years I've been doing this.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Nor we got good ideas, this and that, but they usually throw that curveball and they go another direction.
So the thing I like about there's a couple issues for me for the Yannick. I think Yannick, now that Chase Young is out, meets the age demo that Poles looks for. Also, though, Eberflus has a history with him, obviously. But then the other question is, like, why, if he's in that target age zone, and he's a little above it. He's at 28, right? Is that what the graphic said? He's 28. So, but why is Indy not giving him any kind of contract? And why hasn't anyone else? Like, I understand why some of the guys that are 30 plus, like Floyd, I like John Dorn's sentiment. I think Floyd only becomes an option if we have to spend it, B, we can't get Yannick, kind of thing. Like,
yeah, Floyd's been playing very well, even out of Chicago. I said Floyd's been playing real well. I like Floyd, Chicago, so.
But like you said, Floyd doesn't fit the mold that Poles looking for. He's 30 years old. He's on the back end. I like Leonard Floyd too. I'm happy that Leonard Floyd rocked it in LA and got a ring because he deserved it. You know, and he was in that kind of bracket of Bears defensive players that we let go that have gone other teams and shine.
But he's older, so he could possibly get that 1 year deal. You know what I mean? Not saying because it's a 2-year process.
Like, he's a guy, like, if you can't get Yannick at 28 years old, you can get him on a 2-year deal where you're basically hoping him for coaching, mentoring, and getting these guys to the next level, but it won't be that big of a money. You might be looking 8-9 mil or something like that. And I think that's where, I mean, so I like John Dorn's sentiment, but he doesn't fit the mold. And like you said, there could still be a trade. There could be, and I like the Robbie Gould idea. I think that's good as gold. I don't think anyone in Chicago except Chris Santos will be mad with that. But you know what, though? I think Chris Santos would get signed like that to another football team. So,
I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ken.
Go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead.
No, I like I was about to say. I think Robbie Gould, he's going to get signed June 1st. I think the reason we're waiting on Yannick is because we're going to sign him to like a 1 or 2 year contract. You know what I'm saying? We're going to sign him to a 1 or 2 year contract. That's what Poles is going to do. And that's the move, man.
Well,
that's the move right there. And I think I'm gonna finish it off with this. As far as Leonard Floyd go, he was too small when we drafted him, and he's still too small.
He is kind of
for that DN, man. Yeah. Remember they tried to force him to eat? Yeah, he's too small. Yeah.
You've been trying to get in here, so what you got, man?
Yeah, no, man. I just appreciate you guys inviting me on. This is a great show, and you guys are freaking Hall of Famers cast, man. You guys got a good thing going on here. But I will tell you this much: I did a little research on Yannick, and as much as I like his stats, when you look at him, I haven't really paid attention to where he was at before I did a deep dive. He's been bouncing around in the league for years. He was with the Jaguars, he was with the Raiders, and he was with the Colts for 1 year. He was actually with the Colts after Eberflus already bounced, and so he's not a part of that hits philosophy. That's not saying that they're still not using it after a year removed when Eberflus is gone now, year 2. But I do think he could be a potential a good placeholder. But you got to keep in mind they got a superstar stud defensive lineman there that demands double coverage. So that might be why his stats are up again, because the year prior to him being on the Colts, there's a reason why he got kicked off that team. And I do think that he potentially could be an average defensive end, but I don't think we need an average defensive end. And that's why I really feel that Frank Clark would flip the bill. I don't know how expensive the kid from Washington could be, but I would look at him as a close second as long as he's not too expensive. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like a prove it deal or whatever.
Talking about Chase Young?
Yeah, Chase
Young. Yeah, he's on his last year of his rookie deal.
Yeah,
okay.
He's going to be expensive.
But he's had a leg issue, so it really depends what he does this year.
He's going to be. I think he's going to be expensive, but not as expensive as if he's remained healthy. But then again, that's next year. We got $100 million to play with, so we can. I mean, look, we've got some extensions.
What?
We got $100
What did you
million.
just say?
We have $100 million next year.
Again?
Yeah. Now look at those. We've got some
Oh.
extensions to do. We got to do Cole Kmet's extension. We're going to have to do a Claypool extension. We're going to have to look at some other extensions. But we've got a truckload of money for next year. That's why this is a good 2-year. And you know what? I'm going to kind of change myself up a little bit on Floyd, because what you guys were saying too, because Floyd gets some of that Aaron Donald bump, right? So without Aaron Donald, is Floyd really worth having back in Chicago? Is Yannick really worth Chicago without a bump from another stud?
No, but Yannick, for tracks, Yannick's been playing well. He may not stay at one spot long, but no matter where he goes, he plays decent. And he's already played in Eberflus's defense. You know what I mean? And he'd be by far a guaranteed starter between Gibson and Walker? Just saying.
So we told you what we think is going to happen. Now, here's what's really going to happen. Ryan Poles is going to sign some interior linemen that none of us have been tracking all year.
Yeah.
We're all going to be like, whoa, mine just. He's going to pull off some trade. That's a trade and sign kind of thing from some. We're not even thinking. Hell, it could even be Chase Young at this point. Even though because we see all the no. Well, sometimes the no is smokescreen for sign and trade, baby. So that's what's going to happen. All these takes were pretty good, right? I think they were all fresh, good takes. But watch, Poles is going to do something that's just going to blow our minds. And that's what I love about Poles. And Woody said it too. The guy's such a good poker player. You know, I mean, hell, Track said he was so good his wife would divorce him. You know, but that's what we're dealing with. It's so nice.
I'll be gambling with that guy.
Yeah, I mean, so who knows where Poles is going to go because he's been a master. Look, he made the Philadelphia Eagles give up a 4th-round draft pick. And he said, "Oh my God, you only got a 4th round to swap, dude." He had no intention of taking the man ever, but he made them say, "You know what? I'm not going to take him, and you pick right after me, but give me a 4th rounder anyway." And they said, "Oh yes, sir, we'll give you a 4th rounder just because you play the game that good." I mean, he had no intention, and he made them give up a 4th rounder next year to do what? Not take the guy we weren't taking already.
And Ken, to add to your point, Gervon Dexter, actually his RAS numbers are better than the kid that keeps getting in trouble with the freaking
Carter.
Yeah, Carter. He's got better RAS numbers than him. So potentially, like you said, and you know, a lot of people were like dumbing down by him because they're like, "Oh, he's a little slow off the ball." Well, guess what? In Florida, he was asked. The scheme was for him to be slow off the ball. I had freaking what do you call it? I had another Bears defensive end. He was on our show and for Chicago Sports Podcast for Monsters of Madhouse, and we're on Mondays and Wednesdays. But he was on our show, Corey Wooten, and he was like, "Dude, that was the scheme." This guy's freaking brilliant. He's so smart.
Trax, you preempted me. I was going to do this anyways. Since I've already mentioned it, give them the full blow. Where can they find you? Where can they see you? Let everyone know about your shows.
Well, hopefully, first and foremost, that Anthony invites me more than just one time. And when he gets some of our swag, he doesn't single me out as the one reason why he has to take his glasses off.
No, that's happy for me, Trax. That's happy for me, man.
Oh, I know,
baby.
Man. We're all good, baby. Much love. No, yeah. But on Mondays and Wednesdays, we got a show. I'm on Mondays with Mike the Foz from First and 10. Mike the Bear fan. He knows him, man. He's close with First and 10, man. And good dude. We're on at 8 p.m. And then on Wednesdays, we're running Split Squad 2 and 2 because there's so many people coming on. We're trying to get it through before the season starts. You know what I mean? There's so many people that are willing to come on now versus during the regular season when everybody's busy writing their stuff up on the sidelines, whatever. You know what I mean? Even one of our guys, Jason McKee, that we've had on several times, fullback, he recently just got promoted to sideline reporter. So that's huge for him, man. I mean, shout out to Jason McKee for freaking leveling up. So, yeah, man, that's where you can find us, man. But seriously, I hope you guys welcome me back. It's been a freaking awesome time. And, Ken, you're a great quarterback. I like you now more than I like you for your Salute to Service shirt. That's slick, man. I want to get that.
Yeah, hey, Trax. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. When producer Mike sends himself on the screen, you let producer Mike speak. So, Mike, you're going to say something.
No, I was just saying he's more than welcome to come back whenever you want. You know what I mean? I actually have a group chat if you want. If Anthony don't mind, I'll add you to the chat. If it gets out of hand, all you got to do is mute it. And I tag everyone. That's the only time it's important to the show or something like that.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that, Mike. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think, Trax?
Yeah, man, I'm down. Let's do it. And I'd like to circle you guys in and promote you guys and also have you guys on too, because you guys are dynamic as far as, you know, dialing it in. And I can tell where you guys got really good content. You know what I'm saying? And the best part is you guys aren't all in agreement and it's okay. You know what I mean? That's important. That's huge, man. That's really huge that you guys can agree to disagree. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, me and Anthony are on a pretty good thing here because certain parts be like this and that. Be like, no, I kind of disagree.
Yeah.
I like where your mind's going, but you got to look at this. There's too many cons and not enough pros.
There,
Right.
there you go, Mike.
Yeah, Trax. Hey, I was going to say it too. If Mike had it, and Mike already did, you're welcome back. If you want to come, anytime. Mike and I have been doing this together for a couple of years. We've been honing and building and reformatting and changing, and we're really excited about what we got going on, not just at Halas Hall, but within the NFC North. This is probably the only division in football where all the teams in the division, we have shows that collaborate. So we work together with Maine 635. And we work together with the Frozen Tundra Network. And well, if they can ever figure out what they're going to do, we're willing to work with the Minnesota Vikings. Like every Monday, we have open mic night for the NFC North with Russell and Mike. Main event Mike hosts that. Then we do our stuff, and then on Fridays we have the Frozen Tundra Network. We're working on the Vikings right now. They're TBD. Maybe
It should be Tuesdays. I think they boiled it down to Tuesdays.
So you're welcome to come join us, and we'd love to come join you. It's been a pleasure having you on the show tonight. Your takes have been great. I really love, though, that you actually went full on. Hey, I had Madden 24, which hasn't been released yet. I had to run the games. Here's who's getting the catch. Anthony is always great insights tonight, some good fresh takes. Mike, our producer, thank you for throwing it down, getting us some of those good.
Absolutely, Mike. Absolutely.
So we've had another good week. We're right up against it right now at about an hour and a half. So I know some people got to go to bed. Some people got to go to work. Us retired folk in Florida.
All right.
Don't get up until 11 a.m. and then go sit in our pool. But
too young to retire, Ken.
What now?
You're too young to be retired.
Yeah, hey, 26 years United States Army. I said, I'm done. Peace.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for serving our country.
Yep. So that's why I always try to get these. I've got actually my Peanut Tillman's on a camo, and I've got a blank salute to service mini. I got to get signed too in one of these days. But guys, great show tonight. I think we're probably gonna have a small hiatus until we get near camp, is what Mike and I have been talking about. Unless there's something major, maybe after June 1st. If there's some major signings, like because we think June 1st is going to be a lot of people getting dropped because of the cap casualties. It's cheaper to drop these guys after June 1st. We might see some signings. So we might do a show right around there. And then we're going to probably take a small break and pick up right before camp. And then we're going to go to our normal Wednesday night at 19:30 Central. That's 7:30 Central for you civilian types. Every Wednesday night. And then we're going to go Sundays at 11:30 a.m. every Sunday. If the Bears have the noon game, we'll transition by, we'll drop off a couple areas, and then we'll go like we've done in the past with me and Mike calling the game, if you will, and sometimes CJ. Trax, you're welcome. We have a great time. We play. We have interact with people from all over the world, and that's the only way they can get you game.
Wow.
So we have a good
and
time.
Usually they only get upset at me like twice a year because unfortunately I go to a Bears game and then I go to with my best friend to a Packer game, and it's usually a Bears game. But I told him he can choose whatever game he wanted, and I'd still go to it. And I think it's going to be the Vikings game actually.
So we have a good time with that. We have people last year we connect with from Italy, Asia. I actually. The Atlanta game I broadcast from a cruise ship in Mexico in the Yucatan. So we have a good time with it. So we'll see you guys for that. We want you guys prepared for that. Look, another thing that's going to happen, Mike, if you want to throw it up real quick, we are going to have phone lines this year that you can call in. It's in the works. If you want to jot the phone number down or pause this later on playback and write it down. We want to hear from you guys this season, besides just me and Woody disagreeing about who the best field goal kicker of all time is going to be, Janikowski. And we want to hear what you guys have to think. What are your questions? What do you like? What do you not like? Now, if you're John Dorn, we already know what you're going to say, so you don't have to worry. I'm waiting for the day John Dorn says, you know what, Ken, you're right. Fields is a lot better than I give him credit for. But then again, I also wish I'd win $1 billion Powerball, and I don't see that happening. So, on behalf of Trax, Anthony, Mike the Bear fan, I'm Ken. You've been watching the Halas Hall Report. Have a safe week. Enjoying the summer, and we'll see you probably right around after June 1st, and then when preseason camp begins. Bear down.
Bear down.
was able to read the defense. He was able to call like little small audibles.
His throwing is much improved over the season.
I'm over here in the south side of Chicago, 35th and Damon, doing my veterans tailgate today, baby. This is all about the veterans.
Defensive line's got to get better.
We got a good tight end. That's all you got to do is play to the kid's strength.
Bears 24-21.
Offense looked good.
Glad for everybody to make it. Bear down, and hopefully I'll see everybody next week.